Hello everyone. Welcome to LearningLynks, a complete cybersecurity and network security providers. Well, here in this video we'll be discussing about the web application and penetration testing. So in this particular course we'll be discussing about the penetration testing and information security. So how this training will be beneficial and how this course will be beneficial for you. That is, this training provides you an incentive session which empowers you with the knowledge in a simplified and easily graspable manner. So this session will help you out in understanding how exactly the web application works, what all are the web application breaches, and from where you can enter or from where you can breach the security of that particular web application. So to make it more simple or to make it more easier and to make you learn in a graspable manner, we have divided this course into certain modules. We'll be discussing later in this video what all are those modules. Another point is this training will enable you to carry up attacking as well as defensive methodologies, which will help you and your organization to not only protect but also assess the safety and vulnerability rate. So here we'll be focusing on an organizational level as well as on an individual level. In this training what we are going to do is we'll not be focusing only on the defensive part and not only totally on the offensive part, but taking both the part equally. We'll be learning the protection as well as how the attacks used to happen. So these things will be taken care, like how attacks should happen and how we can protect them. So these all things we'll be learning in this course. Coming up further, what all are the objective of this course? The very first thing is to understand and perform information gathering and digital footprinting. Now you might be familiar with information gathering, but what exactly is digital footprinting? Well, taking an example, like suppose you are targeting a particular target. Now what you find is, suppose certain port is open over there. So to perform the footprinting, the result of footprinting will be returned as which particular service is running behind that port, how that port is communicating with that particular service. So this is all we are doing in the footprinting technology. Now understanding the web application architecture. In this we'll be understanding how exactly the web application is behaving, how exactly the architecture of that web application is. Like either it is a 2-tier architecture or it is following up the 3-tier architecture. So these all things we'll be seeing up in our web application architecture. Now understanding the security breaches, from where we can enter into the web application and how we can breach the security of that particular web application and how we can breach the security of that web application. The next part which comes up is understanding of the top 10 vulnerabilities. Here in this part we'll be learning what are the top 10 vulnerabilities which are going around the market and how we can be secure if somebody tries to attack with any of those vulnerabilities. Understanding various frameworks, like there are a lot of frameworks which are available to even to practice and even to attack also. So we'll be understanding various frameworks which can be used in our web application penetration testing. Now understanding defense mechanism, as I already told you, we'll be focusing on the defensive and as well as the offensive part. So understanding the defensive mechanism is really important part of this course. And the last part, which is reporting. So even though you pen tested everything but you don't know how to present or how to document, it will be of no use. So for this thing we'll be having a section that is reporting, where you will be learning how to make the report, how to generate the reports, and how you can schedule your report for automated generation, and how you can present your report. So these all things we'll be learning in that. Now the target audience for this course is like security officers, auditors, security professional, website administrator, anyone who is concerned about the security of their network infrastructure, and everyone who have promising career in cybersecurity. So you guys are welcome to follow up this course. Now prerequisites is like basic knowledge of computer and internet technologies, and somewhat in like programmatical skills, and somewhat like the conceptual knowledge of the security. Other thing is the hands-on. This course includes practical hands-on exercise that enables you to test your acquired skills during the training and understand its uses in the live environment. So everything here, whatever we will be doing is, for every attack we have the simulated labs. We'll be following up those attacks in our labs, so that whenever you go to the corporate or whenever you go to your organization, you can easily work on the live scenarios. Now this course is totally of 40 hours. We have divided this course in such a ratio like 7:3, where the 70% of the part will be covered in the practical and the 3% will be the conceptual. So we'll be focusing on most of the part in our practical concept, and we'll be learning practical things instead of going into the theory. Now we come to the briefing of this course, how we have divided this course and what all are the modules we have put it up over there. So the very first one is the introduction to web application. So in introduction to web application, we'll be learning about types of web application, usage of web application in the real world, advantages and disadvantages of web application, and the common attacks which can happen over your web application. So these all things we'll be covering in the introduction part. The next part is introduction to databases. In this particular module, we'll be learning about different types of databases, usage of databases, and advantages and disadvantages of databases, and how you can connect your web application with the database, and how the communication used to happen between your web application and the database. So these all things we'll be learning in the databases. Coming up further, we have the basics of web application programming also. If you are not aware with programming, we'll teach you about the basics, in which we'll be covering around 4 to 5 basic parts. That is your HTML, where you will be learning how you can present your web pages and how you can go with the basic HTML part. The next part is scripting, where we'll be considering the JavaScripts and the PHP scripts, where we'll be learning how we can put up the JavaScripts in our HTML pages, how we can query up the data, how the scripts used to work. And the last part is the SQL, which will be used as the backend database. Now we come up to the OS top 10, which is Open Web Application Security Project. In this we'll be learning about top 10 vulnerabilities which is present in the market, and major of the web application is vulnerable to any of these. So coming up to this section, we'll be learning about the SQL injection, how you can inject certain queries in your SQL commands and can fetch out the confidential information out of the database. The next one is the cross-site scripting, where you will be learning how a particular input parameter can be vulnerable to execute a script over the web page. The next part is the broken authentication and the session management, where you will be learning about various things like how you can grab up the sessions and all. The next part is the insecure direct object reference and cross-site request forgery. In this we will be learning like how we can forge the request, how we can take the advantage of the request and we can just modify its parameter and we can do certain manipulation in the original request. The next one is the security misconfiguration, where we will be learning about certain misconfiguration done by the administrator which leads an attacker a very sausage area where we can pass our information and can fetch out the relevant out of the databases. Insecure cryptographic storage, failure to restrict URL access, insufficient transport layer protection, and unvalidated redirects and forwards. So these all things we'll be learning in the OWASP top 10. Now coming up further, what we are going to do is how we'll be learning OWASP top 10. For learning OWASP top 10, we'll be following certain frameworks, either DVWA or BWAP. That is, we'll be learning like how to implement these particular framework and how to test various attacks on these particular frameworks. The next part which comes up is the PHP and the Java injections, where we'll be learning about the Java and the PHP injections and how we can bypass the authentication using these and how we can inject certain malicious stuff using these. The next part which comes up is your CMS hacking, where we'll be learning about WordPress and Joomla, one of the major brands in CMS, that is content management systems, the WordPress and Joomla, where we'll be learning about how we can bypass certain authentication in WordPress and Joomla and what all are the exploits for those. We'll be learning these things. The next part is your manual and the automation of your web application, where we'll be trying to find out the vulnerabilities using certain automated manner and using certain add-ons and plugins, and what all are the tools to find out the vulnerabilities and how we can be protected, or what all are the countermeasures from those vulnerabilities. So these all things we will be learning in the manual and the automated WAPT. The next part which comes up is the web scanner and the proxies, where we'll be learning about various web scanners such as your AppScan, NetSparker, and your WebScrap, your Burpsuit, your Zap, Saturn, Iron Wasp, Securenia, and all these things, the major ones. So these all things we'll be learning in our scanner section. The next part which comes up is the sniffing and DNS poisoning, where we'll be learning how we can poison the network and how we can sniff up the credential if we are on the same network of other users. So we'll be doing these things like how we can grab up the credentials and how we can perform the malicious task, or suppose if an attacker is there, how he used to sniff up the entire network and can fetch out the credentials out of it. So these all things we'll be learning over there. The next part is the web servers. In the web servers, first of all we'll be learning about how to configure the web servers, what are the different types of web servers, and we'll be learning in this the tool based and the manual penetration testing and the countermeasures and the common vulnerabilities present in those particular web servers. So we'll be learning in that. And the last module which comes up is the documentation and reporting, where we'll be learning how to document our work and how to report it to anyone. So these all things we'll be learning in web application penetration testing. Feel free to contact us related to any queries in this particular course. You can also mail us on leads@learninglinks.com, or you can call us on the given number and you can query about this course. And you can also visit our website learninglynk.com for all other courses if you are interested in network security and cybersecurity. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Please do subscribe and like our channel. Thank you. Thanks for watching.